one more commissioner to have a quorum. Once we get the third one, we'll get the meeting started. Here he comes.
I was listening right there. Nice to meet you. Joe.
Thank you.
How are you? Good, yourself? Good.
Are we ready, Ashley?
Yes.
Again, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to our commission meeting of October 10th. We have a lot of stuff on the agenda, so I'll call this meeting to order at 5:03. Can everyone stand for the invocation? We will have a volunteer from the audience that would like to do that. Sure.
Dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather here to do the people's business. Please blessing and help for those people in Israel who have been under attack and taken hostage. We hope that you see their way through this terrible crisis. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Now we'll pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic to which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag
Flag of the state of New Mexico, the temple, which is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Aguilar,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chair Secretary. Commissioner Evans. Commissioner Gonzalez
Here.
and Chair Martinez.
Present, ma'am. Item 6, approval of agenda. Commissioners, I would like to recommend to you, with your approval, to move from action items 11E, consideration of agreement with Valencia Shelter Services for SANE Services. Move it up right after we approve the minutes of September 26th. Sure. Motion by Commissioner Aguilar to approve.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Secretarial. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is approved to move item E right after September 26th minutes. Item 7, approval of minutes of September 26, 2023. Commissioners, did you have a chance to review the minutes in your packet? Any changes or any recommendations or any questions? Motion to approve the minutes of September 26th. Motion by Commissioner Secretarial, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The minutes of September 26, 2023 are approved. Tell Ms. Ardico, thank you.
I will.
Item 8, committee and department reports. Acknowledge department report, detention center.
Commissioner, were we gonna do the item you moved?
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I forgot it myself. Okay, item E, consideration of agreement with Valencia Shelter Services for SANE Services. I apologize. You guys are next. Please state your name and
Mr. Chair, Commissioners? Yeah, right? Okay. Hello, my name is Stephanie Wood. I'm I'm the Executive Director of Valencia Shelter Services in Valencia County. And I'm here to talk about junior bill funding that was appropriated through DFA for sexual assault and child abuse services for Valencia, Socorro, Catron, and Torrance. VSS started in 1989 as Domestic Violence Center first and foremost. It started to acknowledge in our community of Valencia that we were having a lack of services to those who have experienced sexual assault and the outcry of children who had experienced abuse in our community. We brought on those services in 2013, and since then we looked around at our sister communities and acknowledged that we still had a lot of work to do here in New Mexico. We built partnership with Johnny Portillo here at El Puente, and we both, our agencies, acknowledged that there was much to support. Oh, now you lost all my good words. Gotta start again. So. Okay, thank you. Through the partnership with Johnny Trujillo and El Puente, we identified that our two communities were very much closely related in the victimologies that we supported and the lack of service to our community.
Press it again. It keeps going on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hold on. Let me turn it. Okay. No. Hey, don't go nowhere. I think the battery's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to go over there? See, now that's the hard part about going first is you gotta try all the stuff. Make sure it works for everybody else after you. Okay, thank you. Apologize for that. As I stated, through the relationship with Johnny Trujillo at El Puente, we looked at our communities and decided that we both were very similar in our lack of resources and our need to support our community. When we looked at what each organization could bring to the table in partnership, we identified that the major need for both our communities was to provide services in both the child advocacy sense for forensic services that Ms. Sandy Martinez will talk in depth about what those are, and acknowledge that we needed to bring together our collective power in organizing our evidence collection so that we could hold offenders accountable into our communities and keep our communities safe. So I'm going to let Sandy talk a little bit about more in depth about what these services are to people, and then I will come back and talk a little bit about the junior funding, how it came to be, and some things that we do have for this community who started the support for it.
Hi, my name is Sandy Martinez, and I am the Director of Forensic Services at Valencia Shelter Services. So I run the two programs that offer forensic services, the Child Advocacy Center and the SANE program. The Child Advocacy Center, I've been in the role of the Director of the Child Advocacy Center for 5 years. What I started up there is a forensic interview program. So any children that are in a case with child maltreatment can come to our center to get an interview done. So law enforcement and CYFD make those referrals, and they come and observe us interviewing the child in a child-friendly, developmental-friendly, and legally sound manner as a neutral party in the case. We also testify in court on behalf of child disclosures. We also have 3 multidisciplinary teams that we run. One is for Valencia County, one is for Torrance County, and the other one is for Socorro and Catron County. We meet once a month with law enforcement, CYFD, the DA's office, medical professionals, mental health professionals, and advocates to staff child abuse cases that are currently active. And we make collaborative decisions together on next steps that we need to take, and we try to see where the criminal case is, and try to help the families prepare for those. And then we also, I direct the SANE program, so we actually partner with Albuquerque SANE Collaborative. Their nurses come down to our facility to perform medical exams and collect DNA evidence in sexual assault exams. They also perform domestic violence injury exams and do forensic photos of those. They also testify in court as well. So those are our forensic services that we offer. Albuquerque SANE Collaborative is partnering with us. In the meantime, we are going to be building our own SANE program and contracting with our own nurses and medical staff. So that's what we're working on. And one thing about Socorro County that we've noticed is it's really far for patients to drive to get a medical exam or a forensic interview or any kind of help that we offer is about an hour drive from here, some even longer if they live further. And so what we have been working on is trying to provide transportation for those clients if they don't have any. Johnny Trujillo and JC Trujillo are really good at helping us with that part. But we would like to also assist with that because I feel like that's a huge barrier for victims out here in Socorro County. Eventually, the big plan is to have a satellite office here in Socorro County so that they don't have to do that. And we don't have to worry about the traveling. But that's long-term goals. Does anyone have questions about those services?
I just have one question.
Okay.
Do you guys work with CASA?
Casa de Luz? Yes.
Because I'm on that committee from Sierra County
Oh, okay.
and.
Or do you mean Casa Advocates?
Casa Advocates.
Casa Advocates. They're on our MDT, so they do collaborate with us. And we have a couple of people from Valencia County, but we haven't found any Casas here in Socorro.
Okay, the reason I ask is because there's a few kids that need the help here and they're trying to hire volunteers to be able to do it. So is your number on here so I can, because we're having a meeting in 2 weeks. And that way I can tell the president of our committee to contact you so that we.
Yes, it should be the 505-565-3100.
Okay,
And you can just ask for Sandy Martinez.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Any
I'm
questions?
gonna let Stephanie take back over. I know her brains.
Some things that I want to leave with you today. As Sandy said, the services that we provide are extremely important to our communities to keep them safe in order to really help in the criminal justice system and collect evidence. I know what we're sitting here talking about is not a subject that is comfortable to talk about. However, the need is still there, it's still present, and it's still great. And for a year, VSS provided services at no cost at all to anybody. We just did it because it was the right thing to do. We were lucky enough to secure funding through the Crime Victims Reparation for 1 year of service, and that year has now ended. The $25,000 item here you see before you is a junior bill effort from Tara Jaramillo, who really spearheaded that effort for us and acknowledged that the SANE needed to be in existence and the CAC needed to be of existence closer to those in Socorro. Prior to that, any services like ours, they would have to go to Albuquerque or all the way to Las Cruces, depending upon what was needed. And when we talk about our families who are impoverished, sometimes that's a gamble between grocery money and gas money, and that's the reality of it. And so, really, with your help and our help, we're hoping really to bring the services that we provide into this community at some point. But it takes building in order to do it. But I also tell Johnny all the time that my gente is his gente, and we're all the same, though we are from a sister county. We're all here to help and support this community just as much as our own. So thank you for letting us speak today, and I appreciate your time. And I stand for any questions you may have.
You answered the one I had, Commissioner.
That was it too.
Thank you for coming and sharing that with us. And have a safe trip back home.
Thank you.
Okay, now, the department report, detention center.
Evening, Commissioners, Mr. Ross. The most important part is on department acknowledgements, was we had 3 of our sergeants complete the workplace violence prevention training, which I believe now 5 of us have that training. We recently received our transport van that we ordered last year, and it is now up and running. And we're still looking, we're needing on-site medical in our facility. I believe, do you guys have pictures of the transport van?
Yes, it's nice.
Good job. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner? Mike? Thank you.
Thank you.
Road department.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Well, we finished our 3 roads for 2024, so it would be Sanja and Smithville and Slayton.
Hold that mic for you.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
and we're just getting back to old business again, just letting winter come in so we can start cleaning these cattle guards and some of these culverts. That's about it.
Any questions from the road department?
Sir,
I'll have some questions when we get down to what one of the items are.
Okay.
in terms of vacancies, in your department, what's the status? Is in terms of vacancies, in your department, what's the status?
It's going well. It's just that we just need to hire an operator now, and we're doing pretty good right now. We're almost fully employed.
So you hired an assistant and a project supervisor already?
Not a project, I hired a project supervisor, but the assistant's still out there. It's just that people just don't want to apply.
So it's still open?
It's still open.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
Sir,
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Chairman Martinez, Commissioners, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I don't have a whole lot on my presentation today, but I'd like to real quick tackle item B under presentations under my report, because it won't be a huge presentation. It's just kind of a report on HIDA and what we've done to try and get on it and what our plans are to get on it in the future. It won't take very long. That'll be okay. First of all, for most recently, I believe we're in the works on getting a few vehicles from the money that we received, $180,000. We're lucky enough to work closely with WAC Outfitters, and they had a couple of used vehicles, and we bought used vehicles from them in the past, and they've always worked out really good with us. They come fully outfitted, and we get them for probably a third of the price. A couple of years older, you know, but they work really good with us, and we're talking with them about it now. They haven't sent us the quotes, but we're working on it. We're getting them Ford truck for the captain also, which is a newer one. Nothing's set yet, but we're just working on it. I was questioned about HIDA. HIDA is High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. It's an organization that gives money to law enforcement to combat drugs, drug trafficking in our state. And over the past at least 8 years, we've been talking to people trying to get HIDA, and it hasn't been easy. I know the city PD pushed really hard one year to try and get it done, and they didn't, they weren't successful. And as a part of HIDA, just because the sheriff's office were to have gotten it, we would have to share it with the city PD, the tech PD, and any agency within the county, right? And so that takes cooperation from all of the agencies in our county. And unfortunately, in the past, when we were really pushing hard to try and do it, one of the other agencies was not willing to work with us. They basically told us, "Now we tried it in the past."
Sheriff, you're speaking kind of light, so.
Oh, I have a bad habit. I talk really light, and I've got a throat thing going on. So we've run into a lot of roadblocks in the past, and when even recently we were talking to a representative from HIDA, we kind of discussed. He's like, "Yeah, we'll help you, this and that," and then crickets. And I was talking to Sheriff Josh Baker from Sierra County, who is actively, as we speak, doing everything he can to get on HIDA, including he's called Congressman Velasquez, who in turn called HIDA and asked them why they weren't doing it, and all he got in return was, "Hey, don't go above our heads because you're giving us pressure that we don't need," So in my opinion, I don't think they want to share the money because there's only so much money, and the more people that are in it, the less money they get. And I can say that because we were trying to get in for years, and there hasn't been any new people that have gotten in since we tried. People are trying, actively trying. They will tell you themselves that it's hard to get in. It shouldn't be that hard to get in. We're a central corridor in the center of New Mexico that they have access everywhere through Socorro. We have a humongous drug problem that comes from north, south, east, and west. And they all come in from wherever. They're coming in from Arizona. They're coming in from Juarez. They're coming to Socorro, separating it and taking it all over the state. So we know this is happening. But without the right resources, it's really hard to bust these guys, right? They told us in the past, "No, we'll come out and we'll help you." And then when we asked them for help, they said, "Oh, well, you're not a HIDA county, so we can't help you." So it's a bunch of stuff that they tell you one thing and do something else. The one good thing that we have been able to do get from HIDA is whenever they're getting rid of old equipment, such as night vision goggles or old vehicles, we've been able to in the past get together with them, and they've given us some vehicles that we have used as narcotics undercover vehicles. And I'll be working on another one here pretty soon. So that they have helped us that way, and they have helped us with training. So they give us like what they call scholarships, and they give us some free training whenever it comes out, if we put in for it. So I've sent a few deputies to some of their training. But we are, I've spoken with Sheriff Josh Baker, and we worked out a little deal. We're going to try and go in at this together, and we're going to put our heads together and put our numbers in together. We've already entered into an MOU basically for information, intelligence sharing, drug task force type of stuff. So we're working together on that, but we're going to try and work together on HIDA. And that could potentially bring us hundreds of thousands of dollars for fighting drugs and in our community. Again, we will have to share it with the other agencies. And a critical thing, and Sheriff Baker doesn't think so, but it's what I've been told in the past, is that it's critical that when we do this, we have to have all the other agencies on board with us, which is proven difficult in the past. But it's a new time, so it might be able to work it out. Any questions?
Question. So is that federal funding?
That's federal funding, yes.
It may go within the states closer to the border.
So for New Mexico, it's supposed to be for the troubled areas, right? And if you look at the map of Haida, I don't have it. They call it an hourglass because it almost looks like an hourglass, and it cuts out everything in the middle, which is kind of funny to me. You know, I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, 'cause we can go north, east, and west distribution.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, you have a place like Taos, that's a part of it, but they got into it early. But you have the Central Corridor, and they're not really wanting to help us out with it. So I will continue, and my efforts to continue getting in with Haida are another thing I'm looking at is JAG funding, and we're gonna look into that, which JAG funding is some more federal funding, I believe, through the state. And they can give us a ton of money for equipment and stuff to fight, and for overtime and positions and stuff to fight drugs in our community also. But that one's gonna be a little more difficult to get, but I think we can get it probably sooner than we could get Haida. So we'll see about that one.
Okay, Mike, thank you for sending the information to Lee. This came about when the board of directors had a meeting here in Socorro. And from the county, I'm the one assigned for the board of directors for this county. And when this issue came up, it really shocked me that there's 33 counties and only 17 belong to this organization. So I asked the question, I didn't see Socorro County, and they told me the same thing. It's hard to get in. I said, well, how hard? Okay. And they get $9 million a year, which they split the money for stuff like that.
It's difficult because they make it difficult.
Well,
there's no reason it should be difficult.
I really feel, Sheriff, if you're working with Sierra and us, the city, PD, anybody in law enforcement in this area, generate the report and say this is gonna help all of these agencies. That's supposed to be part of it. It is supposed to be able to help everyone. That comment was made at that meeting. They're willing to come, they're willing to spend money, they're willing to come undercover. And I told them in the meeting, I don't know every county, but I know in our county, we have a drug problem. And we need help. We need help. If they can come with federal money to help us, undercover agencies that nobody knows who they are, they come up and show up, I think that would help us a lot. I think we need to continue following up. It's like the commission approved a letter to be sent to our governor. I presented them that letter to the 33 counties for their support, so they would all sign it to send it back to the governor. And it was a letter stating that we felt this was not partisan. It wasn't Democrat or Republican. It was the counties that sent that letter was for help of the governor to send National Guard troops to the border. Because people are coming through thousands of them. They had the border patrol, two of the main guys there doing a presentation. And I could not believe all the numbers of all the people that are coming. And I flat out asked him in front of everybody, do you guys need help? He said, you darn right we do. You know, when you have to separate little kids, women, you can't put them together in the same area, he said. That takes an officer or somebody doing the paperwork. It takes time. That's where the National Guard could help or somebody. You know, I'm going to bring it up again next, because at that time I couldn't get the votes for the 33 counties. But at that meeting, they heard the border patrol that they need help. So I'm hoping that they'll support a letter with all 33 counties sent to our governor asking for her to do something. Shouldn't be partisan. It shouldn't be Democrat or Republican. It should be, we need that. So thank you, and I hope we can get that item.
We'll keep doing it. I think if we have to go to one of the congressmen or women again, then we will. And we'll get as much pressure on them as we can. To see, they throw roadblocks in the way of, oh, well, we can't make it now. And it seems to me, by talking to other people that have tried to get in there, that they are completely and totally purposely stalling and just not wanting other people to get in, which is not right.
So first of all, the decision to me would be, who makes that decision, who gets in or not? To me, there's gotta be somebody that makes that decision. And if you fill out the form correctly and the need is there.
You would definitely think that would be the process, but, we had kind of talked about it before, and I told you the person that Sierra County had been talking to, and they just kind of blew them off. But we'll see, we'll go at it, and we're gonna do it again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions on anything else, guys?
No, sir.
Thank you. Oh, and you will need me later, right, for one more item, I think? Or was this it? Was it for the hiring of 3 deputies?
Retention, that's a grant appropriation if you want to talk to it, but